Es un placer estar aquí con mis colegas, mis embajadores hermanos. There's a little bit of Spanish. I come from the American and also Mexican city of Los Angeles, so you have to speak both English and Spanish and Hindi and every other language of the world coming from Los Angeles. But thank you really to the PhD Chamber of Commerce for inviting me, I think, for 11 months, and I finally saw the invitation. I said, I must come. This is a missing part of my time here, my experience, and it's really wonderful to be with all of you here today to discuss how we can see India as a connector to and from the world. To me, this is the most exciting moment to be in India, in the history of an independent India. I think all of us that are ambassadors feel that way, that this is our luck, and hopefully we can add something as small co-authors to this chapter of Indian history. I first came here when I was 14 years old, when my parents, who have now returned, by the way, they're here right now for the first time since they brought me here in 1985. But they planted a seed in me in that visit as a teenager about what this place was about, how it captured my heart immediately, the potential, the rich culture, the contributions to human civilization. But I kept coming back here, you know, every 5-10 years of my life to see just what has been breathtaking growth and the confidence, the cooperation, the commitment that India has with and to the world is something really breathtaking to behold right now. And I want to thank Dr. Mehta, the entire group who have invited me here today. And it's exciting to be here with my fellow Western Hemisphere American ambassadors and delegates, because I think we share more than just heads that increasingly think alike, more than just hearts that increasingly feel alike. But I think we also have ideology, the idea that freedom matters, whether it's in the marketplace or whether it's in people's lives, at a moment when, as one of my Indian friends in government here said, this isn't just about whether we like each other. This isn't just about whether strategically this is the right decision. There is a discussion in the world right now that human beings are having between extremism and freedom, between the idea of democracy and whether it's religious extremism, whether it's dictatorship, whether or not we should build societies from the bottom up, or whether people should control them from the top down. And we know that markets prosper, we know that people prosper, we know that our planet prospers when we give more freedom, more opportunity, and more friendship to each other. And I think that really is the story between certainly the US and India. Last year, we continued to be India's #1 trading partner. And when the full data comes out, we are confident more than $200 billion of trade will have gone both directions in the Indo-Pacific, probably both directions around the globe too, because some of it goes east and some of it goes west, between India and the United States. And it's as diverse as our countries are, the two largest democracies in the world, who now really look to each other. Similarly, last year, Indian students, and so many I know of our PhD colleagues, have been educated in the United States. The #1 source of students, foreign students in the United States, by a mile was here. Trust me, because we do all the visas. We have over 250,000 Indians who came to study. That's more than twice the next biggest source country to study in the United States. We gave 60% more visas last year than the year before. And my colleagues who are diplomats know with no more people, maybe a couple more people, 60% more, and reduced the wait times down from what used to be more than 1,000 days for first-time tourist visas to now about 200, in some places even under that. So we are moving to make this relationship real along the lines of what I say the 4 Ps: peace, prosperity, planet, and people. Peace, because that is the predicate, and the defense relationship, the strategic relationship, the values relationship between us has never been stronger. Whether it's GE engines that are the most exquisite technologies for fighter jet engines in the world that we haven't even shared with some of our closest colleagues coming here to India, or whether it's startups between India and the US that are coming together through Indus X to find each other and to solve common problems of security together, that has never been stronger. And now India has more military exercises with the US than anywhere else in the world, any other partner. But prosperity is what this chamber is all about. And it certainly is the focus for our mission.
Prosperity that is focused not just on the dollars and the rupees, but also on the content of our trade together. Can we feed each other better and make our farmers more prosperous in the agricultural space? Can we take technology, which is defining our lives, technology which too often we see in bad incarnations, dividing us, harming us, oppressing us, but the Indian and the US vision together with our colleagues here can be technology that connects us and protects us, technology that detects for us even disease, like right now a project we have between the US and India where Indians can cough into their phone, send that, and artificial intelligence detects whether it has some of the signs of tuberculosis, so that we can, in the most remote villages, help India achieve her goals of eliminating tuberculosis by 2025. When President Biden and Prime Minister visited each other's countries in this last year, we saw that at the highest levels, this relationship has never been stronger. And as Minister Jaishankar said, that wasn't a new peak in our relations, that's the new floor. That is the foundation which we will build from moving forward. But in promoting peace, by the way, I tried to find in Hindi, like it's the 4 Ps in English, but we can kind of say peace, shanti, obviously, prosperity, samardhi, planet and health, savasti, and people, sation, our partners. These are the 4 S's in Hindi that we can take together to really guide everything we do. Because the threats that we face in our planet, we lived through this pandemic, we're seeing that with climate change, means that US and India have to look at not just investing in companies that make money, but that can protect us from the next great threat, health threat, that can help us produce clean, green energy, move people through our cities with electric buses and electric trains as we're helping, keep trees planted in the ground to act as carbon sinks, and work with cement, work with steel, and see how we can do that in a less carbon emitting way. These are the places which I would invite you to come to us with your ideas. Collaborate between universities as we've never done before. ISET, which is our initiative on critical emerging technologies, was NSA Doval and our NSA Sullivan's idea to come together and to see what can we do in quantum, AI, semiconductors, telecom, space, now health technology, climate technology, to come up with solutions together and share them with the world. How can we go into smaller countries, just as we heard in Trinidad and Tobago, and use India's great work with the digital stack and help smaller countries have digital identification, health access, universal payment systems that allow the very poorest people to finally have access to capital that they never had before. And we're very interested in work that we're doing, and I know as we always gather together, this is still a very male-heavy room, but we want to see a room in which 50% of the people here are women, and economies in which 50% of the owners are women, and 50% of the workers are women. Because we know here in India, that will be the key to success. Girls graduating, we have a program called Yes Girls Can to help India's goals to bring more girls, to knock down the barriers, whether it's transportation or toilets, or whether it's just the cultural expectation of girls, that they can graduate from school and enter the work economy, not just while they're unmarried, but after they're married, and with children, and a care economy, so that they can bring their brilliance and ideas to the economy here and around the world too. When I first came here, I studied Hindi when I was in university after that visit, and we used to learn expressions. We call them dichos in Espanol. But one of my favorite ones is alag desh, alag rivaj, right? Another land, another custom. But the more that I've been here, I think it's actually wrong in discussing the US and India. It's no longer alag desh, alag rivaj. It's do desh, 2 countries, ek dil. It's do desh, ek man. The question for us, now that our hearts and our minds think alike, can our feet move together? Can we knock down the barriers, the protection that we have in both of our economies to investment? This is one of the highest taxed major economies still in the world. You know that as business people. When you want to create manufacturing here, too often the inputs that might come from another country are taxed so that your outputs are higher than what they should be on the world market. We want to open those markets to help you build out an electric vehicle charging infrastructure, to look at ways that we can diversify away and bring foreign direct investment away from one country where it is overly concentrated right now. But in order to do that, we need rules to change here. And vice versa, we shouldn't just come here to teach and to preach. We need to listen and learn and hear from you, where is it difficult to do business in the United States? How can you be a part of things like the largest climate legislation in human history, the Inflation Reduction Act, where we want Indian companies potentially to look at critical minerals, to look at electric batteries and electric vehicles. What can we do to make sure that India is part of that solution hand in hand with America, instead of us both having fortress economies that just rely on ourselves? No country can go it alone anymore. We have to go it together, even as we build industries together. So, in closing, I know here the work that we are doing is so dramatic. It's so important. And it's bigger than just the United States and America. It is important for the world as well. Two leading democracies, two leading countries, the human brilliance that is here. Last night I was at a dinner, and the outgoing High Commissioner from the UK said, I've worked around the world, I've been stationed around the world. There is no place with more brilliant human capital in the world than right here in India. How do we capture that? How do we connect it and make sure that it moves forward? So this is not India plus the United States. I think when we get together, it's America times India. It's not America plus Bharat. It's Bharat guna America. And if we can figure out a way to do that, I know that we can do so much together, and we look forward to making that happen. Deborah Martin, who is here, if you can just stand up, because I work with brilliant people, is our acting senior commercial officer from the Department of Commerce. So if you want to do business, if you want to come to this year's Select USA in June 23rd to June 26th in Washington, D.C., come talk to Deborah, and we welcome you. We know that that bridge between the United States and India has never been stronger. Let's make sure what crosses over it isn't just a force for good for us, but for the entire world as well. Dhanyavad. Thank you.